see from the basketball and just like the casual sort of background and filming setup we have going on tonight, we're doing just kind of a Whisper Ramble video, and it's going to be a Whisper Ramble on the NBA, kind of just like the standings, stories, trade rumors, all the things that are happening and not happening for teams, and I think it'd be kind of fun just to have a little sit down and chit chat with you. So make sure you do, of course, like the video if you do like the video. As I stated many times before, down in the comments and by pressing the like button, you guys let me know that you guys still enjoy the sports whisper rambling on the channel. If you guys want to continue the sports whisper ramblings and sports content on this channel, make sure you help out and support, because it would really mean a lot to me. Alrighty, I think the first thing we're going to look into is the standings, which I know I'm going to try to do this very fast, not the entire video, just a little portion of the video tonight. Then we're going to move on to some of the more interesting topics to go through. So by conference, let's do the Eastern Conference first, and the team I mostly want to talk about is the #1 overall seed, the only undefeated team in the NBA, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're actually 9-0, almost 10-0, which is actually really impressive. Now I know you're thinking, oh, Jake Baller, who are they playing? What's their schedule like? They've beaten the Bucks twice, which I guess is kind of an easy thing to do this year in the NBA. We'll get to them in a second. They beat the Knicks too as well, the 2 seed. You have the Boston Celtics, and yes, the Boston Celtics are still my team to beat in the NBA. Nothing has really shaken me from that stance. They do have 2 losses, but again, it's so early in NBA season, it doesn't really matter all that much. Again, I don't put where these teams are already into concrete stances, like Cleveland at 1. We'll see if that moves and shifts around. We have the Pacers at 3, Nets at 4. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets are the 4th seed in the NBA right now. Again, like I just said, do not take these seedings into consideration at all. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be very bad this year. They will not make the playoffs. Could they be a play-in team? I guess anything can happen in the NBA's Eastern Conference. Those bottom feeder teams are yikes. You have the Atlanta Hawks at 5, Knicks at 6. They have been kind of on a up and down roller coaster, that's for sure. Obviously, when you are trying to integrate a new player, an all-star player in Karl-Anthony Towns into your lineup, it's probably really rough, and you've been really trying to delegate a certain play style. They're also integrating, of course, Mikal Bridges into their lineup. I still don't know why that team made that trade. It literally makes 0 sense, but hey, maybe I'll eat those words, and a lot of other people will. They do become very competitive in the postseason. Again, Heat at 7, 8 are the Hornets, Bulls at 9, Magic 10. Paolo is actually currently injured, so they are going to be not looking very pretty this year. Really sucks to see that. Wizards 11th, Pistons 12, Bucks 13th. Let's go. They actually won a game against the Utah Jazz, who is like, they're like the worst team in the entire NBA right now, but they beat them, so that's good at least. Raptors are 14th, and in dead last are the Philadelphia 76ers, where, if you don't know, Joel Embiid is hurt. Well, I would have thought, well, he's also pushing reporters, apparently. So not only is he hurt, he's also suspended 3 games for doing so. So, yikes on that. Tyrese Maxey actually just got injured as well, which is just terrible. I think he's on kind of like a week-to-week basis type thing. Paul George did return, but I mean, like, again, that team is literally just barely floating right now, and their whole mindset, apparently it's no, secret sauce they're trying to throw out there. That team does not care what happens in the regular season. They just want to be at the playoffs fully healthy. It's done. Joel Embiid doesn't need any more MVPs. They don't care about accolades like that. This team Series Western Conference. Western Conference tied for first place is actually a three-way tie. Kind of crazy, I know. We have the Phoenix Suns, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, have been really nice recently. They've even been playing some games without Steph Curry and still being highly competitive is really good. That team is actually deeper than I think people are giving them credit for. I think a lot of their other guys that I don't want to call them no-name guys, but the people we kind of forget about are playing extremely well. Pods, Kuminga, they're definitely stepping up. That way I told them. Well, I didn't tell them, but the way I told you watching right now that they have to if this team wants to be any sort of competitive, and they definitely are. And Draymond's still one of the best defensive minds in the NBA, and you know, I don't want to give too much credit to Steve Kerr because I know a lot of Warrior fans and people just in the NBA don't really like Steve Kerr as the head coach all that much. I think he's doing a pretty good job right now, and Steph Curry is Steph Curry all along. Phoenix Suns are actually looking a lot better with the new head coach and Mike Budenholzer, and them having a true point guard at point guard. It really looks like that team has just turned a whole new ship, and their depth is there as long as health is there for them. That team might actually be, you know, not a first round out team like they were last year. But the West is still is the Thunder's game. It's theirs to lose. They're still super deep, super talented, young, athletic. They will be a team to. They are the team to beat right now in the West, in my opinion. Then you have the Houston Rockets at 4, which is just also super random. Like again, the same thing with the Brooklyn Nets in the East. Like it's just, why are they there? Then we have the Mavericks at 5, Timberwolves at 6. Those are two highly competitive teams as well who will be making their way towards the top of the conference, I think, in my opinion. Kings at 7, Denver Nuggets at 8. I mean, Denver. There's actually an article on Bleacher Report right now talking about how a lot of executives and people are feeling like they're running Jokic into the ground this year. Apparently, Jokic has been he's kind of over. Again, reporting. He's kind of over these deep playoff runs and championship aspirations and having to do so much for this team, which does make a lot of sense. Jamal Murray's great, and Michael Porter Jr. has his days where he's looking like an almost all-star type player, but man, in my opinion, it's a lot of work for Nikola Jokic. Grizzlies at 9, they're kind of having a really slow start to the year, in my opinion. The Lakers at 10, which, by the way, Brooklyn Nets, Indiana Pacers, 3rd seed at 4-4. Lakers, 4-4, are the 10 seed. Why is the NBA Eastern Conference so bad? How can you be a 4-4 team and be 10th in the West and a 4-4 team and be 3rd in the East? Is beyond me. 4-4 also are the Clippers, who are 11th. That is insane. Spurs 12. Portland Trailblazers are 13th. Let's go. Pelicans also 14th with the same record. And in dead last, the Utah Jazz at 1-7. Technically right now the worst team in the NBA. They are tanking for Cooper Flag. Who would have thought? Okay, just gonna spitfire some headlines that have been going on in the NBA right now currently. Like we already talked about with Tyrese Maxey having a hamstring injury. He's gonna be out for a time-to-time basis. They're just gonna watch him, monitor him, which, I mean, if at least they have Paul George on that team, but like they can't just have one star playing with a bunch of bums. No offense to the Philadelphia 76ers team, but like when your second best player is Andre Drummond or Kelly Oubre, like you can't win games like that, and that's why they're sitting at the dead last bottom of the NBA Eastern Conference. Injuries, man. Injuries is really rough. According to the Bucks sort of media outlets out there, Doc Rivers is actually taking accountability for the slow start of the Bucks, which I wouldn't say it's really their fault or his fault. Well, it is kind of it's a good portion of his fault, but also injuries. Middleton is not playing, which is really rough. Giannis has been in and out of the lineup as well. Really rough. And is just not built. That team sucks. No offense. Their biggest free agent bringing in was Gary Trent Jr. and like they're starting. Is it Taurean Prince? They're starting Taurean Prince on the team. Like their best bench player is still Bobby Portis, who's like, how old is Bobby Portis now? I have no idea. Pat Condon's also off the bench. Like that team doesn't have any oomph, and they're just relying on these old farts with Giannis and Dame, and even Dame is aging pretty fast since he's left Portland. I felt like he had that Michael Jordan secret sauce, that secret juice from Space Jam in Portland, and now he doesn't have it anymore, and somehow he just kind of took a little step down, which happens, I guess, to a lot of players when you just switch teams and switch atmospheres. I don't know, man. I guess Doc Rivers is taking the blame for it. There's also a quote from Michael Porter Jr. talking about, if we don't win it this year, we all know they might have to break it up. End quote from Michael Porter Jr. It meaning their big three: Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. That's the reference of it in this quote. That would be insane. And if I'm being honest, it's you, Michael Porter Jr. If they break up that big three, it is you that's getting traded. You are the younger asset, probably a little bit more valuable, being a like a 6'10" sharpshooting wing. I mean, every team literally on the planet Earth needs a 6'10" sharpshooting wing. It's probably him being traded. Could it be for a Jimmy Butler? Could it be for XYZ player? I have to think about it for a little bit. But yeah, I think that's a very viable option if this team kind of flames out, gets outed in the first round. You can't just not have championship aspirations when you have the best player in the NBA. I mean, even with Giannis and the Bucks, they're trying to do that, and they got Damian Lillard and whatever else they're doing with assembling that team. Not a very good job, but I think the Denver Nuggets are going to go that way sometime relatively soon if some things just don't change for them. And I guess Michael Porter Jr. also knows that. So relatively not big news, but it's news. Bronny James finally gets assigned to the NBA G League. Let's go. Finally, Bronny gets some really needed development. He'll be playing for the South Bay Lakers. And guys, in my opinion, he is going to get flamed in the G League. He is not going to look good. I don't even know if he's going to get a lot of playing time, to be completely honest. I think Bronny James really just needs to be around and in professional basketball to really help develop him. I really think putting him in games and getting embarrassed, no offense, is not what Bronny needs. Bronny just needs to be acclimated into a professional league. I think just him being around a bunch of professionals and just learning the game a little bit more smartly is what he needs, because he's not an athlete. No offense, he's not a crazy athlete. He is very athletic, but he's not like a gift that he has. I think he needs to bump up the IQ a little bit, watch a little bit closely, learn a little bit more, hone in on his shooting skills, his defensive IQ, to really become a great player, to really become a player that can be playing in the NBA, not just throwing him out there just praying that playing time will just spark the LeBron gene in his brain or something like that. I don't know. There's already a trade talk in the NBA as well. Apparently Golden State and the Chicago Bulls are two of the top teams that are kind of the biggest no-does of the NBA on making some sort of big trade. When you take a look at the Golden State Warriors right now, like we talked about, they are one of the top teams in the Western Conference. Will that last? In my opinion, no, probably not. But you can definitely see they are cooking with something. Do they mix that cooking up with something the stars. They have Steph. That's a great star to have. Steph Curry can win you a playoff series. We've seen that before in the past, even recently. It can happen just with Steph. If they can pry, not like an all-star, but just a very, very, very good starter from a team, a Jeremy Grant from the Portland Trailblazers or someone like that, where it's like an above-average NBA starter, maybe even an almost all-star, maybe if they can get an all-star for a reasonable price, I say pull the trigger on it. You gotta somehow do whatever you can in this relatively short era of Steph Curry that you have left to really make a big impact. I think you do it, and I think they will, to be honest. In Chicago, yeah, trading Zach LaVine, trading Vucevic absolutely also needs to happen, because you don't want to do what happened with DeMar. Just lose him for nothing. That's just the dumbest thing that they could have done. Also, they have Giannis Antetokounmpo on here as well, which is just... You have to be some of the most delusional people on the planet Earth if you think the Bucks have any sort of interest in trading Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have to be out of your mind. Now, if Giannis came out publicly and said, trade me, I guess that's a totally different story. This is going to be kind of like a Damian Lillard saga type thing if this does kind of happen, because, you know, the team obviously wants to compete, but, like, they're not really doing a lot to do so. Like, again, the roster they brought in this year is just, it's not it. This is a terrible roster, no offense. And the team is always injured. It's really old. This team probably should have been broken up like a year or two ago, to be completely honest, if you're just looking at the age of some of the guys like Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. But in my opinion, I would bet a very large 99.9% of the very little money that I have on Giannis not getting traded this year. Absolutely not. The Golden State Warriors are also a team that are very, very interested in this, and I mean, I like Jonathan Kuminga, pods, a couple first-round picks for Giannis. Like, I don't know how that really sounds. Who is the other team? Miami. I don't know if you're Miami, how you get it done, unless you're doing, like, Tyler Hero for Giannis. I mean, Tyler Hero couldn't even get you Damian Lillard. Do you think Tyler Hero's gonna get you Giannis Antetokounmpo? I guess maybe if you're a Heat fan, maybe, yeah. Now we're doing a little bit of a segment of highlights. Yes, we're going to be reacting in ASMR to some NBA highlights. Now, I actually did, well, back in the day, like years ago, a little mini-series of reacting to highlights in ASMR. We're bringing it back in this little segment here. I have two highlights here that I've never seen before. Both of them are apparently game-clinching events. First one is Peyton Watson of a game-saving block, OKC versus Denver. I didn't get a chance to watch this game. It looks like it's down the wire. Let's check out what happens. Let's see. Missed free throw. Ooh, Caruso with the steal. Rebound. That's really nice. Man, Alex Caruso. I love watching Alex Caruso play. And he got SGA with the ball. Potential win here, but I already know the ending to this, I'm assuming. Nice defensive play right there at the end. Holy cow. That is nice. That is nice. Now when SGA gets the ball for a potential game winner, that is almost one of the most terrifying things that can actually happen in a game. Also, Alex Caruso, first of all, with that, what do you call it, a defensive stop? It is a defensive stop with over Jokic was also super duper impressive. Would I change anything differently if I was SGA in that scenario? I mean, if you're going to take that kind of a shot, you got to really put some arc on it, because again, man, these people in the NBA are insane athletes. You got to put it in a spot where they can't get to it. A screen, a little something to distance yourself from your other opponent would have been kind of nice, but not the worst decision from SGA, but also just a great defensive stop right there from Peyton Watson. Well, they tried to go for it, alley-oop there to the basket, but they did not get it off. LaMelo to Grant Williams. Oh, jeez. Wow. Yo, great positioning